Well, hello everyone, and welcome back to another episode in the Hardcore Minecraft Adventure. Today, we are going to be doing a couple of things, but I've put in a pretty significant amount of work off camera, which I want to catch up on briefly. As you might be able to tell by the shack on the pier here in the background, which we built in our last episode, we have fixed a few things. First off, as I went back through and I got some more nether bricks to smooth out the bottom portion of the roof here, which really brings the whole thing together a lot more. We also put some slabs on the underside of this, not because we needed to, but I do feel like it makes the roof feel a little bit better up here and close and personal to the build. And then on the inside, we went ahead and put in the section of our chest for our on-site or our undigging site storage system. And we've got a lot of cobblestone over here. I haven't transitioned a lot of the other stuff over here just yet, but we will be doing that at some point here as we continue to work with this. I anticipate a lot of this storage is going to be stuff that comes out of the mine primarily, so we'll just kind of play things by ear as we go from there. Now, today, things are probably going to be a little bit more mellow, as my overall plan is to get ready to go in on an expedition in the Nether, because we need to find ourselves a Nether fortress if we're going to work our way up to taking on the Ender Dragon. But before I do that, well, I need to make sure that I have some fire protection 3 on some of my armors, or fire protection on any of the pieces of armor here. Probably this chest plate. I don't know if it makes the biggest difference in having fire protection on a lot of things, but either way, we're going to need to make sure that we have a lot of that on hand. So let's go ahead and run down into the mine, get a little bit of our experience amped up here. And also, I'll show you where we're currently at with that, because there's been a lot of progress here. I've also, unfortunately, noticed that there is a minor problem with some of the placement of these support pillars. A few of them, mainly this one and this one, keep burning down off camera because there are some lava pools underneath here that make things a little bit difficult to work with, to be sure. But our mine section goes down a very, very substantial way. And this is the hallway that kind of gives us an idea of where we got to the diamonds at the end of the first episode in this world, which I actually think was episode 3. And yeah, it goes on for a while, but it's lit up pretty well. You'll notice here that we have a little underground water pool with some lava coming into it. There's a little bit more of that over here on the right, and we're starting to come up towards the end of our tunnel, and you can see that I don't quite have it all finished out, but this is where we left off in our mining. So we've got a couple of strips left to go in here, and then this last little section down towards the end, and this is where we ran into our diamonds at the end of that first episode. So that is what we have cut out for us today. Is we're actually going to probably take a moment and do some off-camera mining to finish out this whole left side of the mine, see what else we end up with, and make sure that we amp up some of our experience. But as you can see, I didn't come down here with any torches or lanterns, so we're going to want to make sure we stock up on those as well. So I'll catch up with you in a bit after we've had an opportunity to finish that out. Alright, and with that, we have officially reached the end of the left side of our strip mine. I'm just filling in some of the gaps here because I don't have to make this place look uniform, but I do feel like it helps a little bit with the overall ambience of the mine here. There's just these couple of bits I'm missing right here, so we'll rip those out and throw these in, and that is going to do it pretty well. Now, there's a lot of lighting that we still have to do over this way in these different tunnels here, but now that we're done with the left side, we can now move our focus over to the right. One of my problems with that, though, is if we come down this way, we'll eventually get to a point where you'll see an issue or trouble that I had as I was blocking out that strip mine. So of course I bring it over to this point here. And as we come down across this other corridor, the back end corridor of the right hand side of our strip mine, you'll notice that there is a section up here that is covered in cobblestone. I mean, the walls, ceilings, everything. Looks like there's a friend down there, which we'll need to interact with here in just a moment. But this is about the section that I was mentioning here, where there's a long corridor that's closed off in cobblestone. And this whole section is a very big underwater chamber that we'll need to navigate through. I mean, it can be done, but it's going to be a little bit of a hassle when all is said and done. So we're going to go around and make sure that we get these areas lit up a little bit better. We're also going to want to make sure that we close off this section of the mine as well, as this is an area where we could have some mobs come through, which would be less than a desired effect there, as well as over here. And then this side over here as well, we're going to want to close down. But let's head back up to the top to get ourselves topped up with some of the stone that we've been smelting up. Head over to our village and get a couple of more trades in with our mason, and probably buy a couple of additional books off of our librarian villagers that we have over there. That should get us the remaining amount of experience that we need. You know what? No, he's stuck down there. And you're still hitting me. Okay. Alright, with that out of the way, he must have made his way just up to the top there where he could actually access me. But now, let's unload some of our goods here, and then head over to the village where we can grab some more experience so we can at least get 2, maybe 3 more enchants put together here. Alright, so we may or may not have had a slight change of plan. I did go over to the village and pick up a couple of extra books. You can see those here, but didn't quite have the levels that I needed, so you also caught a glimpse of a bunch of nether quartz that I've just harvested up. Not because I'm in desperate need of a lot of it, and I know that in terms of getting larger quantities of quartz, it's going to be more effective to get a piglin bartering farm set up at some point, but quartz blocks here in the nether are a really good source of XP, and I wanted to make sure that I had a decent amount of that going into, well, looking for some more enchants here. Because I haven't decided if I'm going to enchant my sword, see if I can get a silk touch pick, but I'm definitely going to at least see if I can find some fire protection for the chest plate that I'm wearing, as that's the only other piece of armor that we have that I'm missing a decent, well, a fire protection on. I could run around with some fire resistance potions on hand, because again, you can get those out of piglin bartering, and I've got some of those as well. But I'd rather have a little more control over being able to drink those should I unluckily run into some lava, rather than panic and try and drink it down, you know, in the middle of burning alive. So fire resistance on my armor will really help with giving me some extra time for that as we get going here. But yeah, there you see through the trees, we've got our little strip mine area back. There's an enderman walking around over on top of that there mountain. And we did actually have a wandering trader come through in between episodes as well. And the important thing that we gained out of that is we actually were able to get a couple of jungle saplings, which was really fun and very helpful to have as well. We'll go ahead and dump a bunch of this quartz in here. We'll probably turn that into some building blocks at some point. Let's go ahead and move this over so it's in the same area. And then we can dump off some of our netherrack in here. All right, so just in case, we're going to go ahead and do this. Let's get ourselves a pick put together, a sword put together, and another diamond chest plate. Now, I'm pretty confident that we're going to end up using that one as we get our armor enchanted. So now let's walk over this way, or swim this way rather, to our enchant station. That's over here. And let's have a look at what we can get out of this. So first, we're going to check here. Protection 3, that's not what we're looking for. Unbreaking 3, that's not bad. But let's see what we can get on a sword. Smite 4. Well, of those 3 options, I'm pretty sure that I like the Unbreaking the best. It's unfortunate that was all we got on that, but it is good to have another piece of, or another pickaxe on hand. So let's see what we get here. Protection 4, not really what I'm looking for. Bane of Arthropods 4 again. That's just unfortunate. Because we're not going to get anything better on that. You know what? Let's go make another pick. See if we can maybe luck out and get some Silk Touch. Or even a pick that has efficiency 4. Because then we can combine it with the current pick that we have and get ours up to efficiency 5. Let's see. Efficiency 4? Okay. That's actually not that bad. So let's go ahead and grab that. Efficiency 4. We can now combine that with this to take that up to efficiency 5. And more protection 4 on the chest plate. That's not what we were after. Unbreaking 3 on the sword, though. That's not bad. So let's go ahead and swap that over here. So now we've got a sword that's not going to break for a while. And, of course, Unbreaking 3 is the item we get here. But Fire Protection 2 isn't bad. And it is something at the very least. So let's go ahead and grab that. Oh, it's got thorns on it as well. That's actually not bad, all things considered. So let's go ahead and combine our fire protection onto this chest plate. And that's going to be the cheaper way of doing that. So let's do that. That costs us 11 levels. And then combine this pick. No, it's not the unbreaking one. It's the efficiency one that we want to combine here. There we are. And that exhausts a lot of our levels here, but I feel relatively more comfortable in having the... Actually, I've got to leave this lapis over here. But I feel relatively more comfortable with having my chest plate with thorn, or with fire protection 2. I will probably end up swapping out my helmet for some, for a golden helmet, just for the sake of expeditioning in the Nether, because, well, currently the gold that we've been using has been on our chest plate, and that doesn't fly well if the fire protection armor that we have is on our chest plate. And we will eventually upgrade that a little bit more, but we're going to go ahead and grab a couple of our fire resistances here. And then let's go ahead and take our gold. We'll want to craft ourselves up a helmet. And then let's see if I can get lucky enough to add Unbreaking 2, because I bought an Unbreaking 2 book off of our villager, and I was hoping to be able to combine that with some things, but we're just going to need to farm up a bunch more emeralds before we can do anything that's really noteworthy there. And, oh, we can actually add mending to it as well. That's going to be pretty good. So that's our new Nether Expedition helmet, which is really going to help us out quite a bit. And we have now fully exhausted our levels. What the heck? Okay. I guess we found a piece of ancient debris up on level 94. Not what I was expecting to run into today, but I will gladly ditch this fire charge for it. So that was cool. Definitely a suboptimal area to be looking for it, but we found it. Well, apparently we just walked through or into a soul sand valley, because we just hit our hot tourist achievement. Well, I don't feel super safe about going out all that way. So what I think we're going to do instead is we're going to take a turn and head over this way. Well, we haven't found a fortress yet, but there is a bastion over here. That's not what I'm looking for, though, because the bastion's not going to give me what I set out for. Though we will want to keep a mental note of where this is and come back to it at some point. I panicked there for a minute because I thought I heard a magma cube jumping around up here. And that's bastion number 2. And it looks like I'm going to have to go straight through it as we continue through here. It actually appears I'm probably going to go just over it as we get closer. And this is perhaps the reason why I shouldn't have been building this entire road out of netherrack. There we go. U.S. trained sniper over here. Not really, though. Huh. I wasn't aware that bastions had nether wart in them. But that very well may need to be something that we pick up and start farming. We can also get nether wart from another fortress, though, which is what we're still on the lookout for. Okay, so since we're at X location about just over a negative 1500, we're going to go this way another 400 blocks and see if we find anything interesting. If not, that is where we're going to go ahead and call it for today's episode, because I've got to get this video edited and uploaded. Well, minus 1500 on the Z-axis puts us about another 30 blocks this way, and having a look around, it doesn't look like we've got another fortress anywhere in sight. So I'm going to have to call it off for today here. For 2 reasons. 1, I've been going for a couple hours and really need to make sure I start editing. And 2, my pickaxe isn't looking great. So I'll be doing some grinding off camera to make sure that I get that put back into fit form. And I will also put in that work to either find ourselves another fortress, or we will gear up and take on those 2 bastions that we saw on our way out here. So thanks again for watching. If you found this video enjoyable, please feel free to give it a like, and don't forget to subscribe for more daily content. Until then, thanks again for watching, and I hope that you have a great rest of your day. Bye-bye.